We are here today at the Oval Cricket Ground in London to celebrate children's rights across England, but especially look at the recommendations the UN made for the UK government.
This morning, on the train, the Underground, coming here, I picked this up, a freebie. Gangster boy 13 caught with a gun. On one day, 7 national newspapers, here are the headlines referring to children.
Our organisation, 11 Million, is entirely grounded in working with children and young people. I spend a huge amount of time, as does my office, on listening to children all over the country. And they have a big influence on deciding our policy, selecting our staff, and so on.
92.4% of young people think that they are judged on the clothes they wear. Children and young people that wear hoodies, the stereotype is likely to cause trouble. One child we spoke to said, the older generations generally jump to conclusions about the younger generations through the media.
What we have experienced with the children was very positive because we were really experiencing Article 12 in the making. Children talking about their problems, sometimes also contributing to what they would see as solutions. And I think that the UK children and the UK action, children action, should be seen as a model in many European countries and others, because so far few countries in Europe have brought in children to talk to experts, and this should be expanded.
We need to make sure that the UNCRC is a compulsory part of the curriculum for children of all ages and provide more information about the UNCRC to parents and other adults. We need to make sure that all children who are locked up are treated with respect. They must have access to good healthcare and decent living conditions.
I think children and young people should know from a very early age that they can't be pushed around and they're entitled to all sorts of things and they should say so. It's very good for people to hear that from them, and then they'll grow up into people who won't let themselves be pushed around. And that's very good for democracy.
The proposal is that we may have this UK Bill of Rights. Now, the proposal, however, remains very vague on the detail and certainly extremely vague as to what part children will play in the UK Bill of Rights.
Only in Wales, child rights as a concept has been officially recognised.
Many adults are mistrustful, they don't understand rights, and they think that it'll be mayhem if children have rights. So that the best way to show them how important and sensible children's rights are to learn from and listen to and work with children like you, children and young people like you.
The first campaign is called Report Right. The campaign's aim is to make sure children and young people are fairly represented in the media.
Yeah, today we've been discussing what we're going to be doing in our campaigns to try and get the concluding observations of the UN committee actually put into practice in the UK.
The second campaign is about counselling and confidentiality. The campaign's aim is to make counselling services for children and people much better and much easier to access.
The final campaign is called Every Child's Rights, Quality Education for Refugee and Asylum-Seeking Children.
We should listen and give due weight to the children's voice and opinion, and I think also that we should also stop demonizing children. Like, for example, this morning we have seen some titles in the press and so on. I think children are an asset for a society.
Sometimes the only news is bad news, and that's a sort of general issue with the way that our politics and our media tends to operate. And we just have to blow the whistle on that. We have to work really hard to make sure that children and young people get to speak for themselves and get to speak up for all the good and positive things that they're doing.
Today has been really interesting, and I have met a lot of interesting people.
I think it's been a really interesting day. We've had a lot of people come, which has been brilliant.
I did a fun speech and it was quite fun today. And I really enjoyed it.
think today's been great, and it's been fantastic having so many different guest speakers from all over London and the rest of the country. And I'm really glad that the government has taken into account our views and will actually hopefully be doing something about the concluding observations. So I'm really looking forward to working with CRAE and DCSF over the next few years to implement the concluding observations.